mindsets and you know what I'm saying, the people that really live it on a day to day. You know, it's a lot of people that part time it or they do it when they feel good or you know what I'm saying. You know how this world is. You know what I'm saying. They in and out, but then there's those that just this is just what I do. You know, good, bad, or indifferent. This is what I do. Man. You know what I'm saying. So I appreciate you coming on, man. Welcome to Wealth is Gangster. This is what we talk about, like the mindsets, the financial literacy, the changing the narrative, and I speak to it from a perspective of, like you said, we most of us come from backgrounds that didn't have business and backgrounds of fathers and uncles in business. We kind of found this way on our own. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. Of course, the business that you into, but I want to take them back and just let them know like where you from. You know, who is Mr. Webb? Just give them a little introduction about where you from, a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into how you became what you are, who you are today. How you doing, Miss Skinny?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I see you in Miami doing your thing, girl.
So yeah,
uh, yes,
Carl.
sir. So yeah, kick us out. Let us know about a little bit about Mr. Carl Webb.
All right, yeah, Carl Webb, originally from St. Louis, Missouri. The oldest of 12, retired Army, did 23, almost 24 years of Army working on Black Hawk helicopters. Retired in 2009. Kind of got beat up a little bit, so I retired a little bit earlier than I wanted. But
Yeah.
yeah, jumping out of those planes and stuff like that kind of beat the body. But was fortunate to able to bounce back from some injuries right around. Did some time over in Afghanistan after I retired. 3 years contracting. Uh, got back home about 2014, 15, and then was just kind of sitting around. And a friend called me up with an opportunity just to check out. So I went and checked it out when I wasn't going to do anything with it. Because a lot of people were, always, hey man, I got a great idea. I need you to check out. And so I went. It made like crazy sense to me. And I'm like, okay, then I've been bit with the entrepreneur bug and I became a serial entrepreneur, hence the name C Webb Enterprises. So I have a few things under my umbrella. So one is partnering up with a company called ACN, which is a service-based company that basically we provide services that most people are already using. So fortunately, I don't like considering myself to be a salesman, and and then partnering up with them, providing services for home and businesses that just simply make sense, to be able to get paid on bills that you're already paying.
Yeah.
The company is I started a digital business card with a partner of mine in Atlanta. We were part of another digital business card before. We were the top producers in that company, just killing it all the time. And we decided just kind of branch out and create our own digital card. And it is even more phenomenal than the one from the company that we started with. And doing some amazing things with that. Own a lawn care company, partnered with some gentlemen in a solar company, partnered with a gentleman in a streaming company as well. So a lot of positive cash flow, a lot of positive businesses, working with people that I actually chose. So I would say that, almost 24 years in the military, I never got an opportunity to pick one person to work with to my right. And now being on my own terms, I choose who I give my time to, who I spend time with, who I work with. And that's why I've been fortunate enough to right people. So fortunate to run into a brother like you, Tony. Uh, it wasn't accidental at doing something with the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce here in Killeen at our Black Business Week. Uh, we ran into each other and then continued to run into each other, which meant that the stars were lining up.
Yeah.
We were meant to work together and be a part of each other's lives and to learn, hear, share information and things like that and help each other to grow, man. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh yeah, nah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we met at at the pitch competition. Yeah, that's what it seemed like, because it seemed that wasn't that long ago, but it seemed like, I guess I've been running into you and just hearing your name, and I'm like, it seemed like I've been knowing them longer than it actually been, because I had to
Oh,
think about it.
and it's only May. This is May.
Yeah,
It was February, but it seems like it's been a long time.
yeah, yeah. And that's just because of the like-mindedness and the, you know what I'm saying, and just the spirit of just trying to build. You know what I'm saying? When you run across those, it's not a lot of those people out. It's a lot of people out doing business and doing that, but they're just in lines and just the total way on how we need to be moving as you know, as people. I definitely. But so you said, I love, because I always talk about that. It's one of the things we talk about on Wealth is Gangster about. You know, our community is just jobs. We're taught jobs or sports, right? So
Mhm.
I love what you had brought up, because I always use the example of the guys that started Twitter. They started working at Facebook first, and then they created Twitter, and then they tried to sell Twitter to Facebook, and they were like, "Nah, we don't want it." And then they blew it up, and then Facebook ended up coming buying it back anyway. Yeah, the guys that started, you know, so that I always tell people, infiltrate and vacate. There's nothing wrong with a job. There's nothing wrong with all that. But we
Right.
go to a job and we just be like, "I'm gonna be here forever," or, and you know what I'm saying. And most of the time we get what, disappointed because they let us go, or we start hating the job or whatever.
Right.
But to hear what you said, you went into that job and y'all was killing it at that job, and you and a partner was like, well, we can start this ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear a lot of us say that. You know, like other groups do that. They go in their job, they learn all the information, they learn how it runs, and then they start their own version of that. So what was it? What made you do that, or was it just him brought you the idea, or y'all just both like what? Because normally we don't have that spirit in our community. So I'm just trying to figure out what made y'all say, you know what, we're killing it at this job. Let's start our own.
Right. So I was again, by then I was already doing, I already had a couple of businesses under my umbrella. So I was always kind of thinking in that business mindset. And a
Yeah.
few things started to go south in the other company. And when they started to go south in the other company, there was just those uncomfortable feelings. So you just felt you didn't feel good uh, sharing the product anymore because of what the company was going through, the mindset of the company, basically. So when
Yeah.
the mindset of the company changed and it wasn't a people company, it wasn't people friendly, didn't seem like anymore, it wasn't customer service friendly anymore. Then I'm like, my name's on the line, bro. Right? This is, I'm just one entity of this company, but people can my relationship with this company can damage my relationship with other businesses and other business partners and things like that. So we decided to step away, myself and a young man named Greg. Uh, Greg Brooks is down in Atlanta, actually. And Greg is in his late 20s then, man. So this is only a couple of years ago. But, man, I'm 56. Greg in his late 20s, and Greg is this geek, smart, brilliant, tech savvy guy that, you know, probably 80% of what he says goes over my head. I'm like, look, you're gonna have to say that again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he gets to talking and things like that and rambling. And I'm just like, man, technology is such an amazing uh innovative venture that's constantly changing every day, man. So what you know today will probably change tomorrow. So it's one of the things where you either catch up or get left behind. And we jumped on this thing, man, and we just looked at all the other companies because there are digital business card companies out there. And we looked at everything these companies did and we said, what can we do and do better? And we were already at the forefront of this thing. We're already so far ahead of our time because somebody's right now getting a paper business card and they are super happy and super excited. I just got my paper business card, right? But it's one of those things where it's phasing out. It's phasing out. And you mentioned, I mean, along with that, and then you mentioned with COVID and people not all comfortable hopping up in each other's face still. People can actually have an opportunity. You're looking at social media marketing now. People are just taking this thing to another level, whereas you used to have to go out in public to go do your business. You can do everything you need to do from the comfort of your home. There's never been a time in the history to where there's been more small businesses started in the history of the world, basically, since COVID. That's something good that came out of COVID. You got more entrepreneurs, you got more women. Really, more women have started more business in the last 3 or 4 years in the history of it. They're dominating. So man, be nice to the women.
So they bossing up, you know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing. And that's why I tell, I'll be having my man conversation. I'm like, hey, we got to boss up. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's not a competition with the women. It's just a mindset that we all need to have because even if you got a job, I tell people all the time, if you got a job, okay, you still can be a boss outside of your job. You know, some people just comfortable with a job, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But what do you do after your job? That's because your job you can't pass on to your kids. Your job can still, no matter how much you love it, your job can still fire you whenever they want to. You know, that's out of your control. You know what I'm saying? So even if you have a job, put yourself in a space, either business wise, investing wise, or like you said, I used to be like about opening businesses. Everybody can't open a business. That's what we say, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we teach us from young. Everybody need to get a job. Well, what if everybody don't want to work? You know what I'm saying? Not for and it's not work. Everybody don't want a job to have to go to. You know what I'm saying? Like most people hate their job that they wake up and go to. That's just a reality. They go because they need bills paid and this and that. But most people hate the job that they go to. You know, and that's just a reality. So how can you put yourself in a position where you can live life on your terms? It's not about being the richest person or this and that. It's about how can I live life on my terms, and that's what kind of what you're saying. So what would you say about that? Because I know you said you did military, so you wasn't brought up entrepreneur. You didn't come from the dads, the uncles, the family members. So like when you first started thinking about business, how were people around you or family members? How did everybody look at you? Or was it like me? Everybody thought I was crazy, you know what I'm saying? Or what? How did people react to you when you started talking about business and being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's interesting too because it was really the biggest letdown. Family, family. Again, I'm the oldest of 12. So when I would, and I'm been in the military, I'm that guy that a lot of people called for assistance, for help for years. My whole entire career in the military, I was that go-to guy. So then I come up with something that's going to help you not be able to call me to help yourself. And they like, no, they couldn't see it. And a lot of times your family, they know you for you. Your uncles, your parents, whoever, they know you for that little boy they raised, they know you for the nephew. They don't know you as a businessman, right? So then when you start trying to talk business with them, they can't hear you. There's this wall up, things like that. So getting support from your family, believe it or not, is probably going to be the biggest letdown
Yeah,
because it's like, how can you say no to me as much as I've helped you out and things like that? Well, they don't trust, they just don't trust you, and it ain't like they're trying not to trust you in some cases. It's just that they're just programmed,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
programmed into that company is who does my phone service. That's who I'm sticking with. I had friends tell me, no matter what you say, you're not gonna change me from changing on with AT&T. I've been with them 18 years. There's nothing you can say to make me change. I'm like, one, but they're overcharging you for 18 years. Two, I can help you save a lot of money and still have the same quality
yeah,
service. But you're telling me because your loyalty is your loyalty to them. And I'm like, this was like a friend girl. Well, she friend girl now, but she was like a girlfriend at the time. And I'm like, I'm the dude you want to marry. And you're telling me you're not going to trust me to help maybe put some money back in our pocket and things like that. And she was loyal to AT&T. But I said, call AT&T up and tell them you're not going to be able to pay your month and see how loyal they are to you. And that was just a bad conversation. But we're taught, like you say, go to school, get good grades, and get a job to help build somebody else's dream. You know
yeah,
what? And the whole time we're coming up, we're dreaming. We're playing, that's my car, that's my house, that's mine, that's mine. I want this, I want that. And then you grow up and then you stop dreaming, or you start dreaming within the parameters of your paycheck, of what your funds are, where your life is. And you
yeah,
stop playing, that's my car, that's my house. But I promise you, when I became an entrepreneur, I actually started playing that's my car, that's my house again. Why?
yeah,
Like possible like this is like, wow, you don't even notice you stopped dreaming because life put you in that thing, and now you in that now you at work mode. You
yeah. You're in that
program.
rat, you're in that rat race. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, you're in that rat race, and now you no longer dream. You know,
Yeah,
dreams you dream with limits.
yeah,
That, and it's like, how do you start dreaming again and be on your terms and start working for yourself? And what's bad about working for yourself? A lot of times people will go to a company and go get employee of the week, employee of the month, employee,
yeah,
and they'll be proud of it. But when they start working for themselves, they won't. A lot of people won't try to be employer for themselves. A lot of people won't try to be. They won't. They won't do that. They won't be on time for themselves. They won't get up early for themselves. They won't get out of it. It's a lot you won't do for you. It's like, wow, make that same commitment to yourself that you made for that company, and
Yeah.
watch what happens. Watch out. When you start to value yourself and appreciate yourself, and realize that you are more important than that company you were working for, and start committing to yourself like you committed to that company, man,
Yeah.
business will definitely take off, I think.
And it's the mindset because like I said, it's crazy, man. People are like, you do too much, you do this and do that. I'm like, when I was working 12-hour shifts or working doubles, you always you congratulated me. But now I work for myself and I want to put a double for my own business. Now I'm doing too much. It's just a mindset. It's like I would tell people, like, if you go get a job at McDonald's, you have 100 people saying congratulations. You start a business, you got about 10 people supporting that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
That's
just
funny, man. That's because I never thought of that. I never thought that the whole time I'm in the Army busting my tail, nobody said, "You're doing too much. You're
yeah, yeah,
too hard. You should slow down."
yeah.
Never.
Never. They won't say it because you're working in the system. You know what I'm saying? So they can relate to that. But if you working now, I'm just building my own and I'm spending long days and long nights and barely sleeping. Are you doing too much this and that? Well, I was doing that with the job and you told me I was doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've
That's
been
powerful.
yeah, I've been calling that out for years because I started peeping that, and I'm like, so if I'm over here working a double, I'm doing something great. But if I'm working a double for my own business, I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I just start having to call it out, like, nah, that ain't right, and that's part of the programming. And that's what I hate when people say, well, everybody not meant to run a business, because to me, life is a business. Your relationship with your woman or your man is a business. Your relationship, the people you deal with, business, that's business. Like, everybody you got to deal with, the way you function every day is a business. And once we realize life is a business, we won't be scared to have businesses or be part of businesses. Because this whole thing is a business. And
Mm.
I think that's why we lose, because we don't operate life as a business. We just living it up. What they call it, YOLO or whatever, you only live once or whatever that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, so you only live once. We need to be more focused and more driven to make sure the legacy and everything is in place, because we only get one crack at this.
I have to write that down, bro.
Yeah, no, I've been kind, because I used to notice that, man, when I work 12-hour shifts, I'm talking about my knees be hurting, and I'm like, I feel empty, like this ain't life. But everybody will be congratulating me, man. Hey, man, you doing good, man. I'm proud of you, man. You working on 12 hours. I'm like, man, I'm over here beat up for this little change. But then I got my eggs, I got my beef farm, I got the businesses, I got this and that. Oh, you doing too much, man. You need to slow down. What? I don't even work no more. Everything I do is just I live now. I work every day hard, but it's part of my passion, so it's not work anymore. So
Right.
I might be doing something for 10, 12, 14 hours. I don't feel like I put a long day in, because I love being at the House of Resources. I love being at my thrift store. I love going to mess with my chickens. They part of my business and my job, but it's my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I try to tell people, like what you do. I know you run a business, but when I see you, it's your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to wake up and put on a face to become, Mr. Webb that can talk to you about finances or talk to you about a business, or that's just you. So you work harder than the person at a job every day, but it don't feel like it, because you're living in your purpose and you're living on your terms.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't think most people understand. When you living like that, even if I am working harder, because you're gonna work harder for yourself, especially if you want to go to the next level, but it's not really that hard because the purpose is more fulfilling.
Yeah, you should. You really should be willing to um, do for yourself, work harder for yourself, and there may come a point to where if you working hard for yourself and you doing what you love and what you want to do, and it's your business, you might not even call it work.
Yeah, that's what I say. I tell people it's my lifestyle. I don't work. I,
It,
I just live. I wake up and live every day. You might look at all this stuff and look like it's work. No, this is my lifestyle. It's
Mhm.
part of my life to be at the thrift store, to mess with the chickens, to be at the house of resources, to talk to kids, to help kids out, to come up with a curriculum, to do all this stuff that you think is a whole lot. No, I just live every day. I do stuff. I go when I want to on my time. You know what I'm saying? Unless I got something scheduled or something other than that, I'm on my time every day, and that's
Yeah.
powerful.
Oh yeah, and depending on the job, we got people that brag about their jobs and this and that. Brag, oh man, I make this, I make that, I do this, I do that, right? And believe it or not, man, I've learned the power of residual income. Doing something once and getting paid for it over and over and over and over. And I promise you, whether I get out of bed or not tomorrow, my bank account is gonna grow.
Yeah.
And whether I don't care if it's $1.
Yeah,
It is positive cash inflow. I don't get upset if it's $1 or if it's $1,000. It doesn't even. I'm cool either way.
Yeah.
Because I actually didn't get out of bed this past Sunday. I bummed. I was a straight bum this Sunday, and I needed it. I loved it. It was cool. There was no stress, And then now when I think about a job, sometimes I call that a self-induced hostage situation. It's a hostage situation when you do. And there's a thing called the 40-40-40 club, right? And the 40-40-40 club that's the system that they want to put you in. They want you to work 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life for 40% of what they might want to give you at the end. If you can get that 40% there by the time that time comes.
Yeah.
And so that whole system is meant to be like that. Somebody told me a long time ago, when you go to school every day, when you're a kid, they'll ring that bell, and you go to recess. They'll ring that bell again. You'll go back and sit at your desk, take that recess and call it a break, take your desk and call it your office desk at later on in life. Then they'll ring that bell so you can go to lunch. Then they'll ring that bell so you can come back. It's the same thing. Now you go on to lunch, and then they treat you how to be in an office space as a kid during your schooling, and they ringing these same bells. And guess what? You going to lunch, you taking your break, you coming back. Where the kid, you going to recess, you going to lunch, you coming back, and you sitting back in a cubicle, right? And in school, you were sitting at a desk, but now you're sitting at a cubicle, but you're still in that rat race and things like that. It's that hostage situation that they programmed us to be in, and heck about it.
Yeah, and that's why, and that's the reason why I'm starting my own school. You know what I'm saying? Because we complain about it, but that system is set up to, like you said, it's set up for a reason. It's not set up for teach you how to be have your bank account right, to open up a bank account. I was talking to a Chinese guy, and he was like, "Man, we start teaching our kids about banking and how to run a bank at 5, 6 years old." And I'm looking at in my community, I'm like, "Man, some of us at 18 don't even know how to open up a bank account." They already teaching them how to run a bank at 5, 6. We don't even know how to open up a bank account at 16, 17, 18. You know what I'm saying? So like we are already far behind just at a young age.
Yeah.
So in school not gonna teach us that. And it goes back, like most of our problems in our community goes back to finances, no matter what it is. It goes back to finances. Like the kids are dumped in public schools every day, not because the parents think that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's because what? I got to be at work, so you got to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to go somewhere. So you gonna have to up out of here. What's up, babies and beautiful? Thank you for tapping in, family. But yeah, you got to go somewhere because I have to be at work. I can't miss work, so you can't miss school. Now that's the programming. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have the capabilities to be like, you know what? I'm gonna homeschool my child. Not even if you want to, you can't. Why? Because you can't be there because you got to be at work. You know what I'm saying? So and so that's the dynamic that we stay in survival mode, right? So when you're in survival mode, I had posted about like 2 years ago, like I'm working on a 100-year plan because I study wealth. I study the wealthy people. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that the things that you see today, they had already in the books 20 years ago. We'll see a new building going up, not realizing that they had that drew up 10, 15, 20 years ago. But we can't think like that because most of us are what? We're trying to figure out how to eat today, how to pay the light bill by Thursday, how to stretch this check that come in on Friday. I'm already broke before I even get paid, but can I pay a little bit on this and a little bit on that and stretch it to the next payday? Like that's our lives. So how can we really think about 100-year plan and we in survival mode. So that's the part I was like, how do we attack that? And that's when I came up with CEO Youth League. And that's why I had the conversations and have the topics that we talk about. Hey, Miss Brown, me and her be on. We got our podcast every Tuesday, the Bridging the Gap, and that's one thing. When I was thinking about when you talk about you and your partner, your age and his age. Mm-hmm. And that's what me and Miss Brown talk about all the time. How do we bridge the gap on these ages? Because the youngsters got the technology, but the older people got the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? You might feel like they don't know no better or something like that. No, you need to mix those two worlds, and that's when it becomes powerful. Like most of the time we kind of just stay. Them youngsters don't get it. Them old heads don't get it, so we just stay separated. But I love when you had said that, man. This is a guy in his late 20s, and I'm 56, and we came together. And y'all building something powerful. We need more of that. We have more of that, we'll be unstoppable, man.
Yeah, man. I believe that one, I start with the seniors, man. I start with the elders, those uncles, those aunts, those grandmothers, grandfathers. Right. Black people came up, man, on that front porch, man. When they finished eating, they went and sat out on the front porch and they talked. They used to eat around the kitchen table. They used to talk. There was a time where we knew our family tree and things like that, and we're losing that. I think that, the seniors have so much to say, man, but they got it and they want to share it with you. But when you don't want to listen, and when you tell your 93-year-old aunt, hit you on Facebook, when I tell you that, Aunt Lucille wants to talk to you, she want to share something, and you say, well, tell her to hit me on Facebook or whatever, and she wants you to call her. Can you pick up? I want to do that sometimes. And, and so you got to almost try to meet them, man, where you communicate on their levels and things like that, man. But we got to stay grounded to the old fashioned things of, really listening to our elders. And then these young folks, man, they do have so much to say and so much to teach, because I guarantee that I will not ask a 56-year-old person help with my phone. I won't ask a 56-year-old person for help with my phone, because that 8-year-old, that 5-year-old probably with, oh, uncle, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, that gets you right quick. Yeah.
So we got to find a way, one, to listen to them, because we need them, because technology is going to do what it does with or without us. It's going to keep moving, and you're either going to get on that train or you're going to get left behind, period. And not going to be negotiable. So we got to do that. And fortunately, believe it or not, COVID did help a lot of our seniors to jump into the technology field, because you got elderly people FaceTiming now, man. If they can't, my mother had an iPhone, man. And that wasn't part of her plan. And she's not with it right now, but she knows how to FaceTime her grandkids, and that's enough for her.
Yeah.
But
take the little steps, and that's all it's about. Just trying to figure out how do we make this happen, because that separation is part of the bigger problem. Like I always tell people, we fight so many for military term, we fight so many wars. We got so many wars on different fronts. We got the food, we got the lack of resources, we got the lack of money. We don't own any businesses. We don't produce nothing. We don't manufacture nothing. So our community is at the bottom, because of course it's systematic. It was systematically set up like that. But now it was systematically set up that decades ago. Now it's in autopilot, because we're not out even challenging ourselves. And that's what I always tell people, that we have to raise the standards. We have to raise our standards, and sometimes when you raise the standards, it makes people uncomfortable, right? Because what you used to think is cool, now that's not cool no more. Oh, now you think you this, you think you that. You trying to talk like this now. And I came up with the term, and I tell people, you can't wealth shame me. Like, a lot of people, when you start trying to do better, you start trying to move better, you start trying to put yourself in better environments and everything. The first thing our community is saying, what? You're selling out, you're doing this, you know what I'm saying? We not, we bossing up. We're not selling out, we bossing up. And when you do that, you got to raise the level of how you think. You got to lay the level on how you, who you around. That's the biggest thing. And that's when people, I'm cutting you off, because I'm not. This a dead end where we going. And I ain't even cutting you off. You cutting yourself off, because you're not raising to the level that I'm raising up to. So it ain't even me cutting you off. It's you want me to stay down here, and I refuse to. So as I go up, you stay down. You cut yourself off. It wasn't me. But we can't be afraid to do that, because the standards have to be raised. We have to be like, I was talking to Ms. Brown about this last week. I see so many, I deal with a lot of youth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sick of people talking about, well, I made it to 18, I'm not in jail or dead. Okay, I get it. Don't nobody want to be in jail and nobody want to be dead. But why's that gotta be the pinnacle of a black man? You know what I'm saying? No, I get it. Okay, I'm glad you're not in jail or dead either. But let's talk about what you've been building. Let's talk about what you started. Let's talk about the legacy that you want. Let's have bigger aspirations and dreams than, oh, I'm glad I'm not in jail, because statistically we're supposed to be in prison, I guess, you know. So those are the type of things that we got to do. I always call out what the system has set up, and it's set up a lot, and it's still some things that make it harder for us to go, but it's a lot of ways that we keep ourselves down even more than the system now.
Yeah, and I think like you mentioned, survival mode. So I think sometimes if we accept being in survival mode, I think if we say, hey, and we're bragging about being in survival mode, you know, it's almost like a badge of honor to be in survival mode.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a survivor, you know,
yeah,
that's cool to dance to, but I don't want to brag to being in survival mode, because we're better than survival mode. And I think that once we I think black people, we have to accept our diagnosis, accept that we're broken, accept how we got broken, understand that. And now, when you do that and realize how you got broken, how it was systematic, and how people intentionally, systematic, strategically went to break you, why would they do that? Because you're so powerful, you're so strong, and amazingly, you know, all we got to do is unite. If we unite, so J. Edgar Hoover said back in the 50s when he was director of the FBI, he said that the worst thing that could ever happen to the United States is if black people united. So that's all we need to do. And they do everything in their power to make sure that we don't
oh
unite.
yeah,
If
yeah,
we unite, we will shake up the world, bro, do some things. But we got to accept the diagnosis that we're broken, accept it, and then do something about it. You
yeah,
accept it just like you going to a doctor, bro. Your doctor say, hey man, your blood pressure is high, you got this going on, you got that going on. Accept that diagnosis. And when he tell you you can change your diet and you can exercise, well, let's change our diet and let's exercise. And in our diet, let's change what we're doing, what we're putting in our systems. Not just you, like if they say you are what you eat, then change what you feed your mind.
yeah,
Change, you know, pick up a book. You know, I love the book you wrote and what you shared. It was super powerful for me. So I feel like people need to read that, because that's a part of the diet that you're putting in your mind. You change what you put in your mind, you'll start changing what you put in your body.
yeah,
And to start with the mind. So I
yeah.
think if we accept that diagnosis, man, then we'll start changing things, man, and doing better with each other, for each other.
That's all we need. You're right, Ms. Brown. Now that's powerful, and that's why when I talk about wealth, I think a lot of people get it mixed up that I'm always talking about money. You know what I'm saying? And wealth is relationships. Wealth is a mindset. And when you're on your road to wealth, because I got a lot of people. When I get my money right, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna holler at you. When I get my income tax, I'm gonna holler at you. You know all that stuff, because it's all they thinking about. Well, I got to get some money to be able to come get with you to build wealth. No, wealth can start when you flat broke with nothing in your bank account or your pockets, just by what you start, the way you start thinking and what you start putting in your brain. That's when you're on your road to wealth right there. Just what you start, just all that stuff you used to intake, change all that diet. And like when you said the doctor, I'm gonna one up on that, because I don't need the doctor to tell me what I already know. And that's what a lot of our problem is. We do that with the doctor, we do that with the boss, we do that with everything. We know we eating bad. We know we drinking too much sodas. We know we doing all that. We know grandma got high blood pressure. We know grandpa died from diabetes. We know all this stuff, right? And we still live the life, eat whatever we want to, and then when the doctor say, "Well, you know, you're a diabetic. You got to take these pills," and most people I know that's even diagnosed with all that still eat whatever they want, but then get mad at the doctor because, well, these pills ain't working. No, what are you talking about? You put
Right.
yourself in a position where you don't need them pills. Them pills are not supposed to cure you. Those pills are there so you can take them for the rest of your life. That's what they're there for. They're not there to cure you. They're there so you'll need it for the rest of your life. That's big business. So we gotta be self accountable to, you know what, like me. I had stop eating what I eat. I haven't drunk a soda in probably like 10 plus years. I don't eat fast food, none of that. Not because the doctor told me I'm sick, because I grew up around old schools and I seen them bodies breaking down. And so I didn't need no doctor to tell me to stop doing all that. I don't smoke no cigarettes, none of that. Not why? Because I seen what it do. Like, I don't need no doctor to tell me that. And I think we need to get more self accountable and stop depending on the system to tell us what we already know.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
I love what you said about, building that wealthy mind. I think if you build, like, and I wrote this down, I say, if you build wealth in mind, you will actually need less money
Yeah.
and become less materialistic.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing I learned with, like, the more I made financially, I felt the less I needed. You know, like, like, you want a Bentley. Like, Bentley was like, in one of the companies I'm with, the status is the Bentley. Like,
Yeah.
everybody reach this level, they get their Bentley, they get their Bentley, they get their Bentley. So I wanted my Bentley, and then
Yeah.
when I got to that level, I'm like, why? I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I wrote this statement. It's on my mirror. It says, you want what you want until you can have it.
Yeah.
You don't want it. It's like, what? I just wanted it to see if I could get it, but I couldn't. That would have been so unnecessary for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have been embarrassed driving it for real.
Yeah.
Why? As a status symbol,
Yeah.
it's not mine. It's not my dream car. It's
Yeah.
not. It doesn't fit me. I'll probably look good in it.
So it wouldn't hurt that part of it. You know?
Hey, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. For
But
sure.
it's not gonna be me, man. I spent too much time in the community, bro. I got no business driving up and down in the community, man, trying to help bring my people up, man. And that, sometimes you make people feel bad or whatever. You don't have to show off. We so caught up in bling sometimes to a degree. Like, I like nice things, and my bishop used to say, you can have nice things or those things could have you.
Yeah.
And if they got you, then you're really you're a car crash. You're a car crash. So you gotta undo that. You can have nice things, but don't let those things have you. They won't have that power over you.
Yeah. And
Then
that's
we'll
the
be
big thing right there. That power. Don't let nothing have power over you. And I'm not against it. The more I learn about wealth, I'm not against the nicer things as much as I used to be. Personally, I'm not into it. I just never have been. And I say that when I was having the big money and stuff, I wasn't even into it then. That's just never been my personality. But like I say, there's nothing wrong with it, long as you can really afford it. My problem is our people get stuff to feel better but really can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why they big on the credit this and the credit that. And a lot of us we mess up our credit because soon we get it. I'm
Mhm.
not I'm not the hugest credit person. Like, I think I explained to you the things I ever did. I never used a bank. I never dealt with credit. That's not to brag, because that is a weapon that I could use if properly used. I could use that. So I'm getting more into that. But the mindset is, if I can't afford it 2 or 3 times, I don't need it. That's my personality mindset. And I don't tell. It's not no one way to get wealth. Everybody got different ways, and it's best for what matches your personality. Like, I got a mentor, right? He got 2 7-figure businesses. Never once used credit. Never once got a bank loan. Then I got other mentors that's all they do is run it up with other people's money. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not a one is better than the other. What matches your personality and
Right.
matches your comfort zone. I'm more comfort if I can own it outright and not go through the bank and have to owe the bank. That's just me personally. Not saying it's a bad thing, but
Nah.
me personally, like, I like the properties and stuff that I got. We pay 10 cash here, 12 cash here, 50. We just own it. You know what I'm saying? Like, could I have used the bank and kept that money? And I'll be listening to Hussein, go back and, well, you could have just had the loan, pay the 3% and use that 10 grand and got some more. I get it. There's not nothing wrong with that strategy. But me personally, my makeup, the way I am, I'm more aligned that, like, even the building that I showed you,
Mm-hmm.
that's a 5-year plan. They were trying to put me on a 30-year plan. No, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They,
nothing wrong with that, because I could say, what, instead of coming up with all this money in 5 years, I can stretch it out for 30 and I can use that money to get more properties. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's cool too. But
Mhm.
me personally, me personally don't want that. I want to have it paid off outright in 5 years. That's one institution that I own and move on to the next. So I always tell people it's not a one trick pony or my way of getting wealth is better than the next person or the next person's wealth better than mine. Is what knowing all the information and then matching it what works for you personally.
Right. And it's being on your terms. I think we have our own plan, man. We come up with our own plan and what works for us. And it is so true, man. This world is not one size fit all place.
Yeah.
I think we accept that sometimes and realize that, Tony's got his plan, Carl's got his plan, Miss Brown has her plan. And it's like, I want to respect your plan, your path, and your drive, and just let me know where I can get in and help and fit in to help you with your success. I think us climbing all to the top together, there's room at the top for everybody, bro.
Everybody, yeah.
I got a saying that says it's when they tell you that it's lonely at the top, I'll say the only reason it's lonely at the top is because you didn't take anybody with you.
Yeah.
So there's room for everybody, but you can't take everybody with you. You know what I
mean? You don't want to. If you try to, you might not make it if you try to. Somebody in there gonna infiltrate you, or everybody's not there for your well-being. Put it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's just the way it is. And I got an episode that I'm gonna be doing called Lessons from the Ancestors, and that's one of the first ones that trying to do that. Everybody come. You're going to be inviting people that's going to infiltrate it and take your ship down. That's just the way it is. It's not that I wish it that way or it just is what it is. You got to just know that it's baked in the cake. You know what I'm saying? Just having a good mind. And, well, I wish for, you can wish and hope and all that, but you let everybody in and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So tell us more about your business and where do you see it in the next 2 to 3 years? 2 to 5 years or whatever, like how the next level. Cause I know you keeping up with the AI and all that. Does that anything like that affect what you're doing, or does it enhance what you do?
Absolutely. So we just had a conversation yesterday talking about AI, and I understood about 10% of what they were saying. But I think I'm kind of tracking with everybody else because it's such a new conversation. And fortunately, I'm hearing the conversation while it's new. So I'm just about where everybody else is with it, in depth to with it and understanding it. Say like that tech geek. No, I'm definitely not there. But artificial intelligence has been around for a minute, and I'm with it. But there are things that I'm really concerned about because it's really there's all those dangers of, say, identity theft protection and things like that, man. So it's going to open up so many pathways for identity theft, to misuse it and things like that. So that's one of the things that concern me. I think that there's going to be some great things with it, some fun with it. There's these movies, man, that we seen, like where you see they walk up, to this, and you see they have facial scans and they do this and they catch you going. All of that, man, was movies that was saying what was coming. So now it's coming. Star Trek, years ago, they were on a flip phone, back in the 70s, he's like, beam me up. What do you got? Right? You know what that was. The big bag phones were probably just coming out then, right?
Yeah.
Like this, and then he talking right here, and now we doing all that stuff, So
it was Back to the Future. What's that other one that Wesley Snipes played in? Him and Sylvester Stallone. That one it was
Judge Dredd, I think.
What?
Judge Dredd.
Well, him.
Yeah, I remember.
Was it Demolition Man?
Probably Demolition Man.
They was in the future or whatever. Remember they used to get.
I know.
Yeah. So now you're right. A lot of those movies told us what was going. Yeah, for sure. It's around beyond. But a lot of movies told us, and it's just gonna keep going. So we got to make sure that and that's why one thing I'm gonna be teaching the youth is about coding, and it's about getting into that world. I had a parent she was telling me all my kid like to do is play video games, and I'm tired of it. I said, well, put him in coding. If all he like to do is see, we have to have a different approach instead of, because I never heard that about sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
A parent can know that their kid ain't gonna make it, and they still gonna show up to everything sports, gonna have them at every event. Like, why are you putting all that energy into that for a kid. And even if you do think you got the LeBron in your family, right? My thing is with these youth, let's be great in life. Quit trying to be great only on the football field or the basketball court, this and that, because that's what we train. Give it your all in sports. But these kids, our kids, I learned. I learned this when I had I knew it, but I seen it for myself when I had my first spelling bee last year. These kids were scared to lose. Like, what if I spell it wrong? People gonna laugh at me, this and that. I'm like, well, what if you miss a shot? What if you drop the catch? What if you lose a football game? You just keep working and you get better. So our kids know how to compete, and they good with lose or winning in sports, but they don't know how to compete in life and in business. They scared to lose in life and business. No, you just pick yourself up like you do when you're on the football field or when you're on the basketball court. And that's we need to be training them that it's okay. You gotta fight. You gotta fight in life. Because you hear everybody say, give it your all in sports. I never heard nobody say, give it your all in life. Be great in your life. If you can't be a LeBron James on the court, be LeBron James in your family. Like me, I'm 40 years old. I'm not going to make no NFL team right now. I ain't trying to. I quit school because I started people. My uncle made it to the pros, and I'm like, hold on, there's hundreds of black men in my family. Only one made it. I picked up on this young that my odds were bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I went a different route. But to me, what I'm doing, you can't tell me I'm not the LeBron or James of my family right now. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that what you doing is not the Michael Jordan of your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how we got to get these kids to understand that off the court, off TV, all that stuff, it looks good, but only 0.5% of y'all will ever see a check in that world. So let's make sure that the 99% is just great in life, just great people, just great, you know what I'm saying? Just great in the community. And you still can be the quote unquote LeBron, just in a different form.
Right. And that's long term. And it can probably be healthier for you. And I think that a lot of times, man, black people are visual people.
Yeah.
And that show me the money thing, it was there for a reason. They did a whole thing on that phrase, show me the money. Now, when they put that in that movie, it was bigger than just the phrase. And so we are being visual people, man, and sometimes they have to see it better than just telling them. Sometimes they have to see you make it. Remember, a time ago, people were always talking about, oh, they were excited to see a black person on TV, a black person, but they're on this, and we're still celebrating the first black of this, a black that, a black college graduate in our family, and white folks are like, what? Why? Like, and we're blown away by it and stuff like that. But we gotta be sometimes those examples for our family members, man, that because they are watching, and it's not always who you think that's watching you either.
Yeah, for sure.
We think that it's our kids, our nieces, and our nephews. Dude, when I got into business, my uncles got inspired. They said, man, you inspired me to go ahead and start a business now. And I'm thinking I'm only being looked at from this way.
Yeah.
They're looking at me up, they're looking at me down, they're looking at me on the same level and stuff like that. So I think we have to show our community, man, and we can't, we can't sell a dream just as a nightmare.
Yeah.
We gotta make sure we're standing up. We gotta make sure, man, we're black men on this call, man. We gotta do better. We gotta do so much better for our community, man. We gotta do better for our women. We gotta do better for our parents. We gotta do better for the youngsters that are coming up, man. They need us badly, bro.
Yeah.
And we can do a whole lot better with our community, man. And I think that's the thing that makes me get up every day.
Yeah.
And get excited.
I don't have no alarm clock. I'm just, my body's just got its own ticker after my body feel like it got enough rest, I'm up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's been like that for life. I never had an alarm clock. But I remember when I had a job, I used to hate getting up at 6:00. It like did something to my soul, right? But now I'll be up 3, 4, 5. I'm talking about riding, plotting, thinking. So it wasn't the problem that I hate getting up. I just hate getting up having to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I realized. But now that I don't have to be nowhere but where I want to, I'm always up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm always energized. And that's what we get to, like, even the way kids learn in school, right? They get told that they're crazy if they don't know N minus Y and all that. No, it's just their natural rebelling against that because something telling them that this ain't, like, I never used it. I dropped out in 9th grade, right? And then I got my GED and when it got me associates in business and all that. Not because I have never used that associates in my life. I didn't ran chicken. I'd had a chicken restaurant. I'd had clothing stores, record labels. I'd had all that. I never. Why did I do that? Because society told me I would be a good son for my mother if I was a college graduate. You know what I'm saying? So I got in debt. I got in debt and went through all that just to please my mama, because society tells me a lot of stuff we do is because this is where we're programmed from birth. You got to do this to be a good man. You got to do that. You got to have your college degree or you're a failure. You got, and that's why I be talking to these kids, because a lot of these kids they be like, well, I didn't make it. You 17, 18 years old. You talking about you didn't make the football team? Quit saying you didn't make it. Your life just started. But in our community, they will actually tell these kids you didn't make it. Well, they just started because they didn't make it in sports. You know what I'm saying? So we have to fight back against those terms because we don't understand. And I'm gonna bring up another example. My first CEO Youth League. It was. I'm talking about sun beaming. You know how it is sometimes when the sun beaming, but it's still sprinkling and raining a little bit. I had a couple parents tell me that they couldn't make it because the weather. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't want to come, I can't make you come, but I mean, it's sun outside and it's sprinkling, but whatever. But that same parent would drive through a tornado to make it to a football tournament or a basketball tournament. So what did you just tell that kid? That it's more, forget all that investing and all that business stuff. I'll drive through hell to get you to a football game. I'll make any excuse to keep you away from investing. You just told that kid that all that investing and business stuff is not important. My mama will go through whatever to get me to that sports game. So now that kid is like, okay, it's all about sports to me, because my mom and my dad just showed me that that's what counts more than anything. You just program them with that, and that we got to watch those small messages.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, man. I wish that I spent 5 years in Korea, and so that's over in Asia, man, and just seeing how those Asian communities do things a little bit different. You see how the Jewish community do what they do, how they stick together. You see how the Latino community do what they do, and they stick together. And I think that, like you say, man, it's if we create that mindset for our youth early, and put the right seeds in them and let them know, when I go talk to these schools, man, when I'm at these schools and I ask these kids, have you ever thought about being an entrepreneur? And be honest with you, I'd be surprised at the ones that say yes. I'd be like, really? I'm like, that is so cool, and I get excited. You know why I get excited? Because just like CEO Youth League, the media has us tricked into thinking that these kids don't exist. And there are some amazing kids out here. And I'd be so excited when I meet them, man. I'm getting chills right now thinking about the kids that I meet that are so positive, that are so good, and they don't get the attention. They're not gonna make the news because they're not out here hurting and doing doing the negative things. And so, but we got to make sure we pour into them and let them know you are a superstar of a whole different caliber. You know what I mean? You probably stand a chance of being around here 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and things like this. So you're making it. There's no such thing as made it, because made it mean done. Made means finished. Made me. So you got to keep making it for the rest of your life, man. Growing. That's why when the old people say, when kids you say I'm grown, well, watch out, them old folks used to say, oh, I'm grown. Man, your mama be ready to put you out.
Yeah.
Grown. Okay, well, cool. I can't talk to you no more. Grown people, they pay their own rent. They pay their own car note. They pay. Grown people do that. So are you sure you're grown? Because if you are, then you got to get up out of here, or you need to start contributing. You can stay here, but now I want to put you on a,
put you in a grown position. You want to be grown, let's put you in that position.
Like, you know what I mean? So the kids are out here, man. I love what you're doing. That's why I definitely want you to definitely be a part of the Innovation Chamber Community Summit, because there's another gentleman who is bringing his youth team there. And when you do sign up, if your kids are available, I would love for them to come out to your vending table to stand there and be a part of that. Have them in a professionally dressed. He's going to have his youth professionally dressed. They're going to be handing out flyers and handing information, and they're going to steal the show. Because right now, this thing was for all these adults in the community. And when they come see those kids and they see that there's a positive program, watch how many people pour into your program. That's what's going to wreck shop. So Ray, and I asked him to call you too to help you with your some things with your building. And man, it's just to partner you guys up, and it's gonna be pretty interesting. And I think Coach Juice.
Coach who?
Coach Juice, something like that. They call him, but he was at that event we did one day. So you met him. You just know him when you see
Coach
him.
Drew up in Nug. I know Coach Wilson. I probably met him, and I just didn't catch
No,
the Coach Juice
yeah,
part
that's
of it.
Charles. The Coach Juice, he was at the event too. They were both there,
Okay.
but he was kind of quiet. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I know I spoke to everybody. I probably just, with so much going on. But yeah, nah, I'm definitely with that because that's how we change the narrative, man. We have to do that because I understand that, and we got to do it with it's a parent thing too. I just start with the youth because I know that they more, because some of these parents, man, it's hard battling with the youth. I got to fight the parents harder than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Because they're still bogged down and just, this is the way it's been. But why? Okay, so why you want it the way to continue for your kids like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we
right.
have to be, and I guess sometimes my approach and how transparent I be, some people can feel offended or something because I guess like I'll be trying to team up with sports people, right? With people that got little leagues and this and that, because my vision was I can team up with all these AAU leagues and they can take and make CEO Youth League a part of their curriculum. So these kids that's playing sports, they can actually be taught about business and life and all that with the sports. But I guess when I start telling the truth about most of y'all are never making in sports and this and that, I don't think they like that message. But to me, I don't want to lie to my youth. That don't mean don't play sports. That don't mean give your sports your all. That means you need to make sure that you're learning about finances, you learn about banking, you learn about entrepreneurship, you learn about other things, not just sports. Because when I talk to kids now, I say, "What are you gonna do?" Don't say nothing about sports. Tell me what you're gonna do. They all look at me and be like,
You
"That's it. Sports
you
is it."
I got, like I say, I'm the oldest of 12, and I'm gonna tell you how I found a way into their world sometimes is to ask them to consider. So when I tell my brothers, when I used to tell like I'm the oldest, right? And I didn't say I'm no longer the big brother, right? So I had to remove the title big brother and become the older brother, because the big brother would I would holler at him, get on
Yeah,
him up sometimes.
yeah,
Well, most of them bigger than me now, so
yeah.
that ain't work. So
Yeah,
when I became the older brother, the older brother is a listener. The older brother is a would you consider kind of thing. So now when I found out when I tell them what to do, they never do it. When I ask them, would you consider doing this, it happens every time. So with the young kids, the ones that are doing sports, I wouldn't tell them about the percentage of people that don't make it. Right. What I would do is say, would you consider also looking at having your own business and being an entrepreneur? You can be a multitasker. Women do it. Your mother do it. Your mom. Nobody does it better than a woman. You know what I mean? There's no better multitasker on the face of God's earth than a woman and a female. That's in the animal world. That's in the human world.
it's
There's
nature. Yeah, yeah,
nothing
yeah,
that does multitasking better than a woman. So we can tell a kid, a guy and a female, that you can do this too. So my approach with them would be, I love where you're going with your sports thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're creating your own brand in your sports world. And when you do that, you see LeBron is a businessman, Michael Jordan is a businessman, Kobe is a Magic Johnson is a businessman. Would you consider working on your brand and becoming a businessman as well? And what that does is that opens their mind and say, yeah, I can do this too. I'm this and. But when you this and that's it, that's one thing. And that can be a little scary. But when you this and, you
Yeah,
know, like you're a this and.
yeah,
So when somebody asks me what Tony do, I'm like, I can probably name two or three things that
yeah.
but he does this and he does this and he does that. Well, we can put that conjunction in the middle for them right now, bro. If I said it right, is and a conjunction? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah.
Don't let me embarrass my.
Nah, you good, you good. Nah, and that's I'm definitely because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to save the kids that I was and I grew up with, right? Because we was all taught that we was all taught we gonna make it in sports. Like you couldn't tell us at 12, 13 that we wasn't gonna make it in sports. That's just the only thing we had. And then I seen how the depression kick in at 18, the drugs, the alcohol, the going to jail, because no one ever, and that's why I think I use that approach, because no one ever told us that our chances was that slim. Like and I talked to kids, I say, what's the percentages of people that make it? They'd be like 40, 50, 60%. And to me, that's disappointing, because I think we're setting our kids up for failure for most of them to think that they're going to make it, and they don't know the real numbers. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's a thing that I don't like to lie to kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't mean that you can't be the 1%, but even if you are the 1%, you still need to know about your finances, because half of them end up broke because they don't know about money anyway. The agent of somebody end up robbing them. So I think that's why. But I'm definitely, I get what you're saying about that. I think I come with the shock value approach, right? Because to me, it's a pandemic, man, that we got millions of kids that think they gonna fill 300 positions. There's only 300 positions open a year.
Yeah.
But if you can go to city to city, state to state, I don't care if it's a small country town or a big city, and every one of them kids gonna tell you that they making it to the pros. Every one of them.
Yeah. That's crazy, because listen, I played football, I boxed, played baseball coming up, volleyball, soccer, and I promise you, I don't know why, but I'm looking back at it now, and because of all the people I was around and growing up with, I knew I wasn't gonna make it.
So you had a more realistic approach to it, though. You still, that don't mean you didn't play it. That don't mean you didn't try your hardest, but you had
the dudes I was next to, I'm like, probably should study too. You know, I probably for real. But it was never in my mind that, I really enjoyed it, man. I was enjoying the moment, but I wasn't trying to make it to the pros, man. I was glad that I enjoyed the moment because I had more fun. I was never stressed. I was never pushed. My mother wasn't in my life. My dad wasn't in my life. My uncles have raised me, and they didn't push me.
Yeah.
They only came to see me box. Nobody came to my football games. Nobody came. So the family didn't push me. So it's like there was me. See, I mean, it's a lot of times I come home. This is how good I was. A lot of times I come home and I have to roll around in the neighbor's dirt in my uniform. So when I got home, they would think I played, because
ain't no different. I get that.
You can't get dirty on the bench, man.
Yeah. But that would open your mind up to maybe it's other things out there for me, right? But if you had a parent, and I'd have had some parents, a couple that said, man, what you're saying is true. I was forcing my kids into sports. I was trying to make it through my kids because I didn't make it. Like, and that's a hard pill to swallow, but I have had parents tell me that. Like, and I talk to kids. So a lot of these kids do not want to play sports, but their parents, it's been their culture since birth. That, like, my first picture is with a basketball, or my first picture with a football. Like, my culture and my family, that's pressure on me that I have to play this sport now. And then you get them over here, like, no, I really did. And when I break the CEO Youth League, I tell people all the time, it's like, okay, say you got 4 kids. If whatever kid that's best in sports gonna be the one that's on a higher pedestal. Not that you love them more or whatever, but the standout student, the standout sports child is always the one that's catered to a little bit more. But the one that want to write a book, the one that want to be a teacher, the one that want to be all those things, you're not gonna pour into them the same way. And when I made the CEO Youth League, that's what, like, I want to make the spelling bee champion the coolest. I want to make the kid that want to write a book the coolest. The kid that want to have this business and that business. I want to make them just as cool as the kid that's on campus. I actually wrote a movie called Cool Kids. And we're going to be filming at a high school. And it's about, on this campus, at this high school, the kids that's into the technology, the kids that's into the business, they the cool kids, not the jocks. And it's not nothing bad against the jock, but I just want to have balance to let you know you cool too. This could be cool too, And that's my whole approach. Even when I had my kids sign up to be stockholders, stock investors. The reason they became stock investors because everybody had on Jordans. And I'm like, if y'all want to be cool than everybody at y'all school, y'all know what to do? What? Go ask your mama to buy you a stock in Nike every time you buy some Jordans. Now you can brag at school that you own a piece of the company that you're wearing.
Man, that's right.
Those kids' eyes lit up. They've been doing it ever since. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, kids want to be cool. All this financial stuff we talk about, it sounds good, but if it don't sound cool, they don't care about it. We have to make it cool and hip as we give them that,
Yeah. But then walk past a kid that got on Jordan, does he bragging about his Jordan? And they look at him and say, hey, man, thanks. Huh? Thanks. I don't stock in that company. So buy a pair of Jordans, man, you actually paying me. You put
Yeah, just get them to know that.
but you just got on a pair of Jordans, and he's sitting
Yeah,
there.
yeah, just to get to
What?
know that. And it's just about opening their brains to seeing this world for what it is. Like I
Mm,
always have at every event, I'll be like, here go $20. Point to something that's not $1 million company, I'll give you $20. These kids go crazy. They get to picking up pencils, dirt, rocks. I'm like, no, it's a company that make millions of dollars shoveling dirt. It's a company that make that stop sign. It's a company that makes $1 million off the red paint. It's a company that makes the signs. Like I want them to stop looking at it as an object and look at it as, oh, that's a business. Somebody creates that. You know
mm.
what I'm saying? And when you have those kids stop looking at a stop sign as just a stop sign, and now they realize that it's a company that's making that deals with the paint company that puts all this together. Now they starting to realize that everything around them is valuable. So that's one of my little tricks right there. But hey, I love talking to you, man. And we can have this conversation all day. We didn't hit the hour. I know. I appreciate your time. I want you to give us some words, and I want you to come back because I ain't even get to go in on. We got to talking about just all this stuff. I ain't even get to start asking you about you and everything. So tell people about the company. Tell them how they can contact you and just give us some words to end on, and we definitely want you back, man, so we can go back into a deeper conversation of what we've been going through.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. So of course, man, I appreciate this. I really love this, man. I really appreciate the subject and the content we're talking about. I feel I love your heart, your passion, where you are, man. And like you say, this is one of them conversations that can go on and on. I feel
Yeah.
like so more than anything, man, let's just continue to do something with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the fact that I'm talking with somebody that's not just talking about it, but they're being about it. And so
Yeah.
for me, and to work with companies, like I was thinking about the CEO Youth League and my digital business card, how each one of them kids, I can help put that digital business card in each one of their hand. And when they start building a digital business card, they're building their brand and a mini mobile website. So that's something I want to talk with you about each one of those kids creating their own digital business card and having that to be able, because they got phones and they know how to work them and they know how to card probably amazingly, and they build their own. So I can help you with that, but yeah, that's Cardius .us, I think /Carl Webb, or a 314-484-7436. I'm that business owner that answers every call. Some people don't answer. They say they're in business, but they don't answer calls from.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, but you're in business, right? Somebody just referred you to Tony. Tony calling you. You don't know Tony's number, so you don't answer. Man, I answer every single call. If I don't want to talk to you, I let you know, hey, please take me off your contact list.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I answer every single call, or webcarl49@gmail.com, man. But listen, we also have a summit coming up with the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce on the 30th of this month at the Killeen Civic Center from 10 to 3. It is a free summit, workshop, job fair, entrepreneurial experience, business creativities with the SBA, the Texas Workforce, the Public Library, the Police Department, Fire Department, hospitals, the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, all the colleges, Texas A&M, CTC, Temple University, the EDCs from most of the surrounding cities are going to be there. And it's a free event. We're going to talk about hub certification, DBE certification, which is a disadvantaged business enterprise. Hub is historically utilized business. All those certifications and why you should have those to get in position to grow your business and do more. That and so much more. Doing business with the city of Killeen, doing business with the ISD. You name it, I think it's going to be there. The most amazing people are going to be there for you to be able to come there and hand your business card out, get business cards, create relationships. I do not believe in networking. I'm not a networker. I'm a relationship builder. I believe in building relationships. If networking says I know somebody, building relationships says I got somebody. So when you got a guy, you probably won't pick up the phone and do any more research. You're just gonna go use the guy. And I want to be somebody that's in a relationship with somebody in business to where because I'm in a relationship with you, Tony, even if your service or your product is $5 more, I'm gonna pay that $5 more with you. I have a vested interest in your success. That's building relationships, and that's what I want to do, man. Continue to build these relationships, continue to help people, help each other, man, and grow this. Because my circle now, man, believe it or not, I'm the oldest of 12 again, bro. I don't do business with my sisters, brothers. They
I
don't.
try. I
They don't
try.
support any of my businesses. I've tried. I've even when I do try to give things to them for free. Look, just sign up for this. It's gonna help your business grow, put more money in your pocket, more time back on your clock. It just doesn't work, bro.
Yeah.
So the people I hang with more, man, I see you more, and I see you more, and I see my brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we love each other, and we cool.
Yeah. Just the culture of we don't know. We wasn't brought up in that culture. You know what I'm saying? That's not second nature for us to do business. We taught to don't do business with family. You know what I'm saying? But then when you check it, when you
True.
study wealth,
That's
the
true.
wealthiest people are families. You know what I'm saying? Like all the brands and the names that we see every day, them are family last name. That's not no one person thing, and that's why we be celebrating the one person that make it in the sports, but that's one person that gets rich. We need families to grow wealth. We need families like the McDonald's, the all these last names that we wear, the Gucci's, the Louis Vuitton. These are last names of generations of family. Ford, General Motors. These are kids being fed for generations because it was a family thing, not just one person in the family got rich and everybody just try to get something from that one person. But like I say, it starts with the culture from, and that's what I'm trying to do with the youth league, starting a culture of this. Have these conversations should be regular. Like what we talking about, it shouldn't be breaking news. We shouldn't have to have flyers that say we're gonna have a think tank or this and that. We have to make an event because it's not our culture. It's not natural for us to do these things. But it's all kind of think tanks that never post a flyer. They just know they meet every Wednesday or they meet every first Monday. They all know. So that's what we have to build. We have to build the culture of all this, and then we'll start building more momentum to conquering what we want to conquer. But until we get the culture to make this regular life, regular standard, you know what I'm saying, the regular conversations, until then we just gonna be just going at the rate we're going.
Yeah, and it's sad that you say that, man. Like you said, we're taught to never do business, with family and friends. People say, I don't mix business with family. You know what? Whoever did that to us, that it made us, we got to be better to each other and with each other, right?
Yeah.
But we should be doing business with family and friends, man.
First off, yeah.
That's interesting that they tricked us with that one too.
And I think I'm gonna do something at the House of Resources soon, and probably gonna call it something like that, doing business with family and friends, something to attack that, because that's what we got to do, and that's why I'm always talking about changing the narrative. That's why I started my nonprofit. It's called Changing the Narrative Foundation, because that's one of my taglines. So I just ran with it when I started the nonprofit. But we have to change all these things that we were taught. We have to unlearn and relearn everything that the system taught us, the way we operate, the way we deal with each other, the way that if somebody offends you in your community, you hate them for life. But this country offends us every day, and we forgive them every day. You know what I'm saying? But your cousin messed you up, pissed you off, and you ain't talked to him in years. You know what I'm saying? Like you said though, you said we're broken, but we have to acknowledge that and work on it. You know what I'm saying? And like they say that in rehab, if you can't say that I'm an addict, you're never gonna get over it. You know what I'm saying?
He's spot on.
So yeah, man. So man, I appreciate, like I say, this conversation could keep going on and on. But y'all know you're a business man. We got to get this going. But I definitely, we're gonna find another a slot in your schedule in the next couple of weeks, man, to bring you on and just continue this conversation, man. And I look forward to setting up something. I'm gonna definitely be there May 30th, but I want to have something where you come to Temple and we had these conversations at the House of Resources too, man. So we definitely gonna keep building with each other.
All right, bro. Part two,
man. All right, you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank y'all for timing in, Ms. Brown, Majorly Beautiful, Sipping with Skinny, everybody else that's tuned in now or tune in later. Love, this is another episode of Wealth is Gangster with Mr. Carl Webb, and we'll be checking up out of here. See y'all later.
All right. Peace, brother. Peace, everybody. Have a great day.
You too.